Alexis is the sustainability lead at Yorkshire Housing. So I'm really excited to have her here today to discuss their SHDF projects and some lessons learned and how you can apply these to your projects. A reminder that this is delivered by Turner and Townsend with our guest presenter Alexis, and that this is funded by the Department of Energy Security and Net Zero. And that's all from me. I'm just going to hand over to Alexis, and please enjoy.
Afternoon, everybody. Thank you. So hi, everybody. Thank you for coming along to the session this afternoon. So as Louise said, I'm Alexis Durant. I'm Sustainability Leader at Yorkshire Housing. I've been with Yorkshire Housing for just over 12 months now. My role is brand new to the organisation. There has never been a sustainability lead in the organisation before. So we are just carving our way out in sustainability, delivering that across the organisation. I'm not new to housing. I did previously work for another housing association for 6 years prior to joining Yorkshire Housing, and so I've delivered SHDF Wave 1 and 2.1 projects, and we'll be looking to deliver Wave 3 project under Yorkshire Housing as well. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what I'm going to discuss today. I'll tell you something about Yorkshire Housing, what our strategic approach to retrofit is, and a bit more about our housing stock. I'll talk you through our Wave 1 and Wave 2.1 project, talk about the challenges that we've encompassed, and look at also the tips for the learning that we've received from Wave 1, taking that into Wave 2, talk a little bit about why partnership working is so important to us, and some key tips for projects, retrofit projects that you're thinking of taking on, and just share a bit of our knowledge and learning from that we've gathered over the months that we've been delivering our projects. So a little bit about Yorkshire Housing. So we are the largest housing association in Yorkshire. All our housing stock is contained within Yorkshire. Yorkshire's quite a large region, so we've got houses right over to the east coast, almost up to the northeast, right across over to sort of the Manchester way, and then down in South Yorkshire as well. So we've got quite a geographical spread of our homes. We've got around 20,000 homes, and that's a mix of social, market rent, leasehold and shared ownership homes. We've got a really ambitious new build project, about 8,000 homes we want to deliver over the next few years, and our development team are looking at focusing on going above the Future Homes standard, looking at net zero standards. And actually this year we acquired our first ever net zero homes in Leeds Climate Change District in partnership with Situ. So we're really excited to get customers into those properties and monitor the use of those properties and see what benefits they bring to our customers. Our CEO, Nick, really believes in putting sustainability at the heart of everything we do, and we do live that here at Yorkshire Housing, and that's demonstrated through Nick's podcast, Raise the Roof. He hosts lots of different experts across the sector around climate change and retrofit. It features quite heavily as part of the podcast, talking about the challenges in the sector, discussing what needs to be done, any changes in the sector around retrofit, and just raising that profile of retrofit and climate change. We also have a lot of tenant engagement in terms of environment and climate change and retrofit. We've had a customer environment champion for the last 3 years who holds us to account in giving customer perspective on our plans around retrofit and the environment and climate change. And also this year we launched our Homes and Environment Group, which is a wider, more inclusive forum, both around the environment and retrofit, but generally more our asset development and our asset investment as well. It gives a really good forum for customers to share their ideas, give feedback, and for us to share our plans in terms of our asset investment and retrofit. So that's a little bit about us. In terms of our housing stock, we have a really good EPC profile at the moment. So our social rent portfolio is the main focus of our retrofit work. We've got around 4,000 homes that we need to get to Band C EPC by 2030. And in addition, we expect another 2,000 to drop down below a C due to the impact of our DSAP 10 when that comes in. So we are focusing on those as well, as we know they'll need some additional work when that RDSAP planning comes in. In terms of our strategic approach, our approach is really data-driven. It's practical, it's straightforward. We've got 3 key high-level aims, and that's to have 0 solid fuel properties by 2027, for all our properties to be SAT Band C by 2030, for all our properties to be net zero carbon, and for us to be net zero carbon as an organisation by 2050. To achieve this, we are taking a multi-pronged approach. We've got dedicated multi-measure retrofit projects projects using available funding such as SHDF and Eco4. We are building retrofit into business as usual asset investment programs. So that's looking at doing new roofs with solar PV, fitting air source heat pumps as standard for replacement for solid and electric heating. And we're also looking at expanding this from 2026 to include triple glazing as standard for all window replacements. And we'll continue to develop that as we go forward towards our net zero target. We're also building business as usual retrofit into our empty homes programme. We currently do low regret measures such as insulation when a home becomes empty, and we work together with our empty homes team on that. We're also currently in the process of developing a policy this year to not re-let below a band C EPC. So hopefully at the end of this year we'll look to introduce that policy, and we won't be reletting any homes below a C. And we're also including low regret retrofit measures into things like our kitchen and bathrooms programs. So putting insulation in at the same time, it's really good for access. So that's kind of our strategic approach at the moment. Really simple, really straightforward, and we feel really achievable. So I'll talk a little bit now about our SHDF projects. So as I mentioned, we delivered an SHDF Wave 1 project and an SHDF 2.1 project that we're currently ongoing with. I'll start with our Wave 1 project. So in terms of our Wave 1 project, it was a relatively small project, so delivering that to 17 homes. It was a multi-measure approach in terms of retrofit in North Yorkshire, quite a remote location, solid fuel properties. In terms of time frame to deliver, it took around 18 months. We got £190,000 worth of funding, and the measures that we delivered were external wall insulation, air source heat pumps, solar PV, and we also installed IOPT monitoring systems as well, and we are monitoring those properties ongoingly and addressing any issues with customers through our sustainability liaison officer. Again, I mentioned we are removing solid fuel from these properties. I did remove solid fuel from these properties, so that was an added complication. In terms of delivery, it was delivered both by a mixture of internal and external teams, and we worked with principal contractor E.ON to deliver that. In terms of how that project went, there were significant challenges, as I'm sure lots of people, if you've delivered the Wave 1 project, lots of challenges, lots of steep learning curves. I'm sure everybody experienced that with it being a new fund and a new approach to delivering retrofit in social housing. So some of the key challenges that we came across were the delivery timescales. That included doing the customer engagement at speed, local skills and supply chain. I mentioned that delivery partner E.ON worked with us, obviously a national contractor there. We did use local contractors where possible, but in terms of the requirements for the fund, in terms of PAS 2035 and things like that, it was hard to come across really local contractors. Again, I mentioned the remoteness of our project as well, so that was quite a struggle. Enabling works was a big challenge for us as well. Distribution network operator Northern Power Grid. In terms of installing air source heat pumps, there were some enabling works that needed to be done. There were some delays with that, challenges in terms of groundworks, and then value for money on the project. We found that to deliver this in the speed that we had to deliver it wasn't great in terms of value for money for us. But again, we took all that learning and put that into Wave 2 of the project. So in terms of our Wave 1 project, that was completed earlier this year, and we have managed to do some customer surveys. We've been back to every one of our customers on the programme and spoken to them and undertaken a satisfaction survey. In terms of how that went, it was a kind of a tale of two halves, really. So we had a very low satisfaction with how works were executed in terms of how we communicated them to customers and the length of time that those works took. But there was a high level of satisfaction with the results post-work. So everybody was really happy with the measures that had been installed, the resulting bills and the resulting comfort of their homes, and ultimately they said they would recommend the work to others. So yeah, a tale of two halves, but overall really successful, and the data that we're getting out of that project at the moment is really demonstrating that it's having a real impact on the comfort of those homes, the warmth of those homes, and also really supporting customers with affordability of their energy bills. So we're really pleased. I'll move on to wave 2. This is just a picture of our wave 1 properties that were delivered at Staxton, North Yorkshire. So that just really demonstrates the look of the properties was really enhanced. You can see the solar panels up there. The properties look great. Customers are really pleased. And as I said, the warmth and affordability of these homes are now really improved. So SHDF Wave 2.1, again, I mentioned that we've taken learning from Wave 1 and applied that to Wave 2 of our project, and I'll go through that now for you. So we scaled up the ambition of this project a little bit. Again, a really remote area, Duggleby and Motherby in North Yorkshire, really remote, really fuel poor area. The number of homes that we're targeting is 31. We've got a little bit more time this time with SHDF Wave 2.1 and a bit more funding this time, obviously in line with the number of properties that we've improved. Again, a multi-measure approach, so looking at air source heat pumps, solar PV, and actually trialling switchy devices in terms of monitoring. We are also self-funding battery storage at these properties. I'll come on to the customer engagement in a minute, but that was a direct result of customer engagement around concerns due to the remoteness of the area and ongoing power cuts. So we've decided to put battery storage that can work during a power cut in there. Again, delivery teams, a mixture of internal and external, continuing with our delivery partners at E.ON. And in terms of what we've brought from Wave 1 to Wave 2, that learning and lessons learned is really the key focus for us is customer engagement. We've done more focus on that customer engagement piece, both through communications in terms of letters, phone calls, but we've also hosted lots of event days, not just at the start of the project, but we're going on through the duration of the project. We continue to do that now. And we've also held event days for colleagues. And as you can see here, we've got work ongoing on the left there, and on the right, a couple of examples of our engagement days. So the picture at the top with the lovely stall there, that was the first engagement day we did with customers. We had an air source heat pump there for people to look at. We had all the experts there for customers to talk to about the kit that was going to go in their homes, about how long it was going to take, what the process was going to be. And then we also had a colleague engagement day. So the photo on the bottom right there, you can see a lot of colleagues from Yorkshire Housing and our delivery partners attended site, and we walked through all the kit that had been installed in a void property, really luckily, and everybody got to have a real up close look at that, talk to our delivery partners, and the repairs team were really pleased, so they could have a look at, what they were going to be taking on in a few years' time in terms of repairs and maintenance. And we also used it as an opportunity to further engage with customers, so they were invited to site to talk to us as well. We managed to resolve a few issues on site at the same time, so that was a really successful day. We've also held a couple of Yorkshire days there. So on Yorkshire Day, Yorkshire Housing do go out into the community across the board to support customers, hold events for customers, and we did that again this year up at Duggleby. We've also had much better engagement with our contractor for Wave 2, so we've worked really closely. We've developed a really good working relationship and a really tight team, and we are in communication, if not on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, about what's happening on site. So we're much closer to the project, and so far so good in terms of Wave 2.1. We're really pleased with the delivery. We're really pleased with the refusal rate. We've only had a couple of refusals so far, but we're not counting them as proper refusals. We're working on them. So yeah, working on that customer engagement is really key. So that's it for our SHDF projects. I'll go on to talk a little bit about how we've worked in partnership for both our retrofit projects under the SHDF funding model. For us, we really big on partnership working. It's very much what we do at Yorkshire Housing. Our SHDF project could not have been delivered without it. We are part of an SHDF consortium with West Yorkshire Combined Authority, both for Wave 1 and Wave 2, and we plan to continue this for Wave 3. Partnerships, both internal and external, provide really good support and network to share ideas, and sometimes an environment to have a bit of a whinge in. So that's why we really value working in partnerships. We said around partnership working that it really helps around not underestimating the level of engagement for the project duration. We can speak to people, work in partnership with our contractors, and look at that from a holistic point of view. We really, really want to be honest with our customers. And again, that takes partnership working. We want to let them know how long that's going to take, what disturbance is going to be as part of the project. So we work in partnership with our delivery partner and with subcontractors to really be in contact with those customers about that. And again, being realistic with timescales and measures. So again, speaking to customers on that, and then working closely with contractors. I think I've probably done working closely with contractors to death now. So in terms of my last slide is key tips. So, we're not the experts. This is just our learning. We've delivered a couple of projects under the SHDF funding model at Yorkshire Housing. We're also delivering some Eco4 funded projects, and we're also doing our own internal works. So this is just kind of key tips from us that we've learned as we're going on delivering these projects. So one for us is really know your stock. Accurate data is key. We've done a lot of work with our asset intelligence team, who are absolutely fantastic. They have really upped our game in terms of our data knowledge. We use Sava Intelligent Energy. We've done a lot of fact checking, we've done a lot of EPC checking, we've done a lot of stock condition survey checking to really get the data to where we think it needs to be, so that we can be confident in the projects that we're pulling together. So we're not really getting any nasty surprises when we get down to project delivery. Get your procurement right. I think that's one thing that's really key. There are a lot of monitoring and reporting requirements under SHDF. So you want the right delivery partner that's going to support you with that. And then making customer engagement a priority. I don't think I can say this one enough. Again, from our Wave 1 project to our Wave 2 project, we've made some really great progress. We're by no means an exemplar. We are still working on that. And it's something that I think always has to be worked on. Again, make customer engagement a priority. You're only going to be able to deliver these projects if the customer is on board. And that just means constantly being in touch with the customer. Again, I think I mentioned on the previous slide, don't underestimate the level of customer engagement that's required, and this time we haven't, and we are hopefully delivering a more successful project with really happy customers as a result of that.